Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to my podcast. It's been a long time, and I had people crying, sending me videos of them crying because they haven't had this joy in their life as of late, namely Charlie Fish and Declan Watson both sent me videos of them shaking, crying, quivering, one might say. And I saw the strife on my fans' faces, and I've decided to be back. So, um, I've been busy, which is why I haven't had time for this. But while I've been busy, I think I've um, been able to develop topics in my head that I would like to talk about. So yeah, today, just a quick overview. I'm going to go through some stories from my life recently. There may be characters that you don't know. I'll try and summarize their person in a quick sentence. Should be pretty easy, actually. But a few stories, and then a quick ad break, and then I'm going to talk about some pop culture um, topics, and then I have a rant, a debate, and then I'll wrap up. So, yeah, let's didn't have much else to add, so we can dive right into my life as of late. Um, it's been pretty. It's been like kind of somewhat eventful. I'm still golfing, not as much as I used to. Um, I think I've gotten to the point where I don't know. I don't think I can get any better. So it's like I don't think Rory McIlroy practices that much because he's like, what can I do better? I'm just so good at golf, and I've gotten to that point, probably past him. Um, so I haven't been playing as much golf, but I did go down to Charlottesville this past weekend for the Young Alumni Reunion, or YAR for short. So if you hear YAR, that means the Young Alumni Weekend at Charlottesville, basically homecoming. What it is an excuse for, young professionals, 22, 23, 24, maybe year olds, to act like children again for a weekend, although some of them do that anyways. But yeah, it was a great weekend. I had a great time. My BC Eagles did take the loss, but that was a blip on what was a great weekend. Two quick stories from that weekend. First, uh, if you couldn't tell, I was rooting for Boston College in the University of Virginia versus Boston College game, or BC Polo. Got a lot of flack for it, including flack from none other than the UVA basketball coach, Tony Bennett, who I ran into on my way to the game. I started talking to him and the assistant coaches about, BC and who's playing today. And they quickly learned, thanks to Alex and Kayla, that I was actually a UVA graduate. And then they started to make fun of me incessantly. Tony Bennett asked if I was wearing my UVA boxers, and I said, haha, nice joke. Get ready for a sexual harassment lawsuit in your mailbox on Monday. So that's on its way. Hopefully, I'll get some money out of that. Maybe he'll get fired. Who knows? But also, at one point, I kind of assumed that like they had somewhere to be because it was like busy guys. It was like, the UVA head basketball coach. There was Kyle Guy, who's like a former NBA player and is now an assistant coach. I assumed they had somewhere to be, so I started like walking away like your typical like, oh, good talking to you. Thanks for talking about my underwear. See you later. But he like I walked away and I had to walk back because he just stood there like talking like and I was just like, wow, he has time today. Well, good for him. He wants to meet the people. He wants to see their undergarments, and good for Tony. But that was a interesting way to go to the game. Actual game sucked. It was so hot. I was there for like maybe 10 minutes. But walking there was great. Um, so yeah, that's about that. Rest of the day was typical, pretty uneventful. But what was eventful was Pranav Singh. His yard was very eventful. Um, Nav came down, I think, Friday afternoon from Northern Virginia to Charlottesville. So about a 2 hour drive. And he tried to go out on Friday night, didn't get into the bars he wanted to get into, so he went home, and that's frustrating. I get that, but it's the Friday of Yar. there's always Saturday. Saturday is a much more fun day. Nav was awoken to four football players in his apartment, or his sister's apartment where he was sleeping, because his sister and her roommate had come home with four football players. And I think that rubbed Nav the wrong way. So what Nav did is that Nav went home. So Nav was at Yar for maybe like 6 hours, 7 hours, max. Um, he didn't see anybody. I saw one of Nav's friends, Maxie, and I was like, "Oh, like where's Nav? I want to say to Nav." And Maxie's like, "Nav went home." This is at like 11 a.m. on Saturday. And I was like, "Nav went home?" So yeah, Nav did a quick show and go at an alumni weekend, which was interesting given he lives a 2 hour drive away. But it happens. Not to me, but it happens to some people, namely Nav. And I actually did end up seeing Nav on my way up. I drove to Nav's place early, what was it, early Sunday morning. Nav and I went to IHOP. Um, went to IHOP in what town is it? I think it's called Fairfax, or maybe it's Centerville. I don't know. One of those useless, nameless towns in Northern Virginia that everyone hears and is like, I don't care what that is. It looks the same as the other ones. Um, we went to an IHOP there, and it was a bit of a surreal experience. Our waiter was a very nice man. He took a liking to the fact that he learned I was from Boston, and was just asking me incessant questions about Boston to the point where he was cutting Nav off, who was trying to order, uh, because he had more questions about Boston for me, and then he just walked off, and Nav was like, I didn't get to order, which was kind of funny, and the food was just so bad. It was like it was so bad. Like I can't even. I know it's IHOP, but like it was unedible. It was so bad. Um, but we did get the 2-for-1 milkshake deal, which was great. It's you get two milkshakes for the price of one, and unfortunately, I was the one who picked up the tab, and Nav is now claiming that his milkshake was the free milkshake, that like the buy one get one. Like I paid for both of us, but Nav is claiming that he got the free milkshake and I got the full price milkshake. Um, so he hasn't paid me back the full amount. He paid the way he paid me for like the bill was like $40, and I think my meal was more expensive. So I was like, Nav, you can pay me like 15. Nav paid me $7 through Venmo and $3 through Apple Cash, and I'm like, what? A, why did you split that up? B, that's like not even close to what you need to pay me. So it was just a bit of a disaster payment wise. But yeah, tough weekend for Nav. Tough weekend for IHOP. But everything else is great. That's a year in a nutshell. I don't know. Everything else is pretty. Yeah, like Declan was a degenerate, per usual. It's a nice segue into my last story, which is Declan uh, cheating. Declan cheated at fantasy football. That's right. If you don't know who Declan is, uh, think of like your most annoying friend and like multiply that by five, and that's Declan. Um, he He claims to be a fantasy football quote unquote guru, self-proclaimed guru, and self-proclaimed fantasy football trade fleecer. He's called himself both those things. No one else has ever called him those things. He's 2-3. He has scored the least points in the league the past 2 weeks. And around week 2, week 3, we caught him having bought a player. He bought Rasheed Rice off of Bars, another player in our league, for $10. Um, which is sad. It's embarrassing. It's like the guy who claims to be a guru is actually just cheating. And the way we caught him was so hilarious because an unnamed source named Henry Fowler, he dropped in our group chat, was like, "Hey, do you guys know that Deck actually bought this player from Bars?" And we were all like, "What?" He was like, "Oh shit, I thought you guys already knew." So we did a quick investigation. We asked Deck like send your Venmo transactions, um, and Deck, who is on his phone all day, takes like a 4 hour lunch break every day to make fantasy football power rankings, which is sad. Um, he he didn't respond for like 2 hours, and then when he started responding, his texts were trying to defend the trade and not actually sending his Venmo transactions. We were like, Deck, we don't care what you have to say. Send the transactions. He finally sends them a couple hours later, uh, and there's one transaction that happens twice, like that the day that the quote unquote payment went down, and then Dan Oberman, another member of the league, finds that you can see where it was photoshopped because like it kind of cuts off the transaction above it. So he just took one of the transactions and like copy and pasted it over the cheating one, and then it kind of covered the one above that. So uh, he got caught red-handed there. Um, we at one point we were like just in a screenshot of your Venmo transactions, and he said, "No, no, my screen's cracked. I can't do that." And we were like, How does that even make sense?" So we caught Deck cheating. Surprisingly, there was no punishment for it. Deck still thinks that if he wins this league, he gets his payout. He won't. Not like he would win this league. Hopefully, he doesn't come in last because then he probably wouldn't do the punishment because it would probably be like, you know, I don't know, go to Florida or something horrendous like that, something truly awful. But yeah, so Jack, he cheated in fantasy football, which is it's just like oh boys, it's sad. It's just sad. Yeah. Other fantasy news. I was removed as commissioner from another league because I don't know I wasn't quote unquote doing my job because I kept changing people's points and stuff like that. But I don't know. It happens. Thank you, Jake, for remedying that and making yourself 5-0. So basically, what happened was Jake took over commissioner and changed all the points, and he is somehow 5-0 after that whole process, after being like 1-2 with my numbers. So we'll see. I'll get a third party to evaluate that at some point. But yeah, I know most of you don't give a flying hoot about fantasy football, so I think I'm going to move on. We're going to go to a quick ad break, and then I'll be back to talk about. I'm going to pivot towards um, more, yeah, some pop culture stuff that I was thinking about. So yeah, see you after the break. Hey, how's it going? Um, we are back. Uh, so yes, where was I? Okay, culture, pop culture. I had a few thoughts about this. I'm gonna lead with baseball. I know most of you don't care about baseball, but I do. The New York Mets are on to the NLCS. They beat the Philadelphia Phillies 3 games to 1 in a 5 game series. An embarrassing loss to the Phillies. Just offense fell apart, bullpen really fell apart. I mean, just you're talking about the team with the most wins in the National League losing in their first playoff series. Um, every hitter outside for Harper looks bad. Trey Turner looks terrible. Kyle Schwarber looks terrible. Castellanos did well actually, but JT Romero doesn't look good. Alec Boehm is so bad. It's just all these guys that names you recognize and names you're like, oh, they should perform, right? No, none of them did. And their bullpen was hilariously bad. I think one guy finished with a ERA over 40, which is impressively bad. So that was rough for the Phillies, although it made my week. I'm smiling every day now because the Phillies got absolutely smoked by the Mets. And the Mets are a fun team. Um, the Mets are a really fun team. They're it's weird. I don't usually root for New York teams, but the Mets, I'll root for the Mets. I'd rather have the Mets win than the Yankees win definitely. So go Mets. It's all about the Mets, baby. Hit a home run, baby. I can't do the impression, but there's this funny. You know what? I'm gonna move on. The Dodgers. I hate the Dodgers. Dave Roberts is a bitch. I hate Dodgers fans. Fuck you if you're a Dodgers fan. I really hope they fucking lose because I cannot stand them. And the problem is, I like Otani, I like Mookie, I like Freddie Freeman. I like all the players, but it's just the fans and the people who are like, oh, Tatis is showboating too much. Yeah, because he's batting like 800 against your team and has like 6 home runs. That's why he's showboating so much. He's beating you guys. So it's just like, yeah, I would love them to lose and see all their fans try to cope with the fact that their franchise is hapless and spends billions of dollars, and every offseason they win, quote unquote, they quote unquote win it. But the reality is it's the same Dodgers. It's the same Dodgers, it's the same Phillies. They choke when it matters. Moving on from baseball. Um, I've seen a lot of Sabrina Carpenter clips on my For You page, and yeah, I've always had a lot of thoughts on like young stars, like child stars, basically that are now older adults, grown adults, and seeing how this sort of like dealt with child fame. And a lot of the clips that I see are like creepy angles of some guy trying to like get like under her, wear, and like it's just weird, but a lot of the other clips are the way that she presents herself on stage and just sort of the way she interacts with her fans. And I am impressed. I'm really impressed. I see a lot of shows, like Taylor Swift shows where it feels very choreographed. She has, some nice lines here and there, but it feels like someone wrote those lines with her, and she's like, all right, after this song, you'll say this line, and it'll play into this song. It feels very, like, robotic, and obviously she's a great performer, very good live performer. She performs for hours and hours, but I see the ones with Sabrina Carpenter where she's, like, interacting with fans. She's like, I think, very naturally, very funny, and it comes off when she performs. She's very comfortable making, jokes at the expense of herself, the people in the crowd, and I think it's very entertaining. I would say, to see these clips and be like, wow, she's actually quite funny. Um, and yeah, it's just interesting because I've known the name Sabrina Carpenter since I was like, like 11, and it's like I used to watch, what's it called, Girl Meets World, and one time my sisters met Corey Fogelmanis, who played like the nerdy guy in that show, which is kind of funny. He was at a Lowell Spinners game, which is just hilarious. He doesn't have a Wikipedia page, which is kind of sad. But Sabrina Carpenter very much so does. She's the biggest star in the world right now. Her songs are huge. They're funny. They're creative. They're what's the word? They're um, some of them are quite explicit, like explicitly sexual, and that's rare. I mean, I don't think many pop artists are having lines that explicitly sexual, unless it's like an alternative pop artist kind of. But you know, compare her to Chapel Roan, who I know was having issues with, he's getting anxious about shows and is tired. I mean, sure, you're anxious and tired and it's stressing you out, but I mean, it's your job. Everyone hates their job. If she was a garbage man, she'd be fired. So it's just like, that is kind of like, oh, but she's really stressed and it's a lot of work. Yeah, everyone is stressed and has a lot of work. She should see someone about it, sure, but end of the day, she's a multimillionaire, and she's being awful to her fans by not performing, because these people that paid for tickets and planned their, probably bought flights and bought transport. It's really not good. She doesn't have those problems. Her shows seem entertaining. She is a bigger artist, just like plain and simple. Her songs are bigger. So you know I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I think she's very attractive as well. That helps my fandom. But yeah, it's weird because I remember Girl Meets World, and like, I don't know, maybe she didn't blow up in the spotlight as quickly as other people like Justin Bieber, which is why she's maybe able to adapt. Plus, she's 24, 25, so she's older. She's older than a lot of other artists. But I remember back when Olivia Rodrigo first got big, where everyone was like, "Fuck Sabrina Carpenter, she's evil." She, whatever, the fucking cheating. I don't know, whatever, she dated Olivia Rodrigo's ex boyfriend. Whatever. I wasn't keen to that, but I knew everyone hated her, and I don't know. It's just everyone seems to sort of forgotten about that. The fact that they were talking shit about her for like back in 2022 or whatever, and now the flip sides. I don't think anyone's bringing up the fact that she was public enemy number one back when what was it called, like driver's license came out. So you know I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Sabrina Carpenter. That was all I had on that. The last thing, it's the one I spent the most time on. This is probably the most prep I've ever done for the podcast. I was looking at like artists and success, and the way I'm looking at it is this is a very mathematical approach to this, but the way I'm looking at it is I'm looking at streams on Spotify for certain artists compared to the number of songs they have released. I've always had this point that like Bruno Mars, and it's I'll explain that. Okay, sorry. I'm looking at Bruno Mars and Adele versus Taylor Swift. Bruno Mars and Adele, they're all megastars, all huge pop artists. But I'm looking at, I've always had this point that Bruno Mars is like, the guy has like 30 songs out there, and they're all hits. You know all of them. I'll shuffle all my Bruno Mars songs, and I'm like, oh, this was a hit. This was a hit. This was a hit. It's like almost nuts. Because he just doesn't have songs that you don't know. So it's just kind of absurd. And Adele, I've been getting into Adele recently, and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot she had so many hits, and like she doesn't have that many albums. So I'm comparing them to Taylor Swift, who we know is a megastar, has so many hits, but she has released so much music, and that's a testament to her. But it's just and I'm gonna bring the numbers, but the percentage of Taylor Swift songs that become mega hits is so much lower than that of Bruno Mars and Adele that it's kind of crazy. So here are the numbers here. So Adele has released 46 songs under her name. Sorry, 46 songs on the four albums she's released. So she's released four albums. They're all numbers. It's 30, 25, 21, and 19. So four albums, 46 songs total. She has eight songs with over a billion streams, 13 songs over 500 million streams. And Skyfall is not released under an Adele album, but that also has over 500 million streams. So that's like, about a third of her songs go over 500 million streams, which is kind of nuts. Um, Bruno Mars is even crazier. He has released 29 songs on his albums. 29. He has three albums out. It's 24 Karat Magic in 2016, Unorthodox Jukebox in 2012, and Doo Wops and Hooligans in 2010. So 29 songs. 10 of them have over a billion streams. Over a third of Bruno Mars' songs that he's released under his albums have over a billion streams. 12 of them have 500 million plus, which is, comparable to Adele's numbers. Um, Bruno Mars also has other songs, a lot of other songs that aren't on his albums, like, 24, no, what's the song? Oh, Uptown Funk. That's not under Bruno Mars' name. It Will Rain, not under Bruno Mars' name. Um, he has that Wake Up in the Sky, not under his name. So if you count his other songs, he has three more songs with over a billion streams and eight more songs with 500 plus million streams. These are still Bruno Mars songs. I didn't count the Bruno Mars features, which he has many. I only counted Bruno Mars like main artist songs, and he's released about 37 total songs, and the number of songs of those that are over a billion streams are 13. So over a third, about 40% of Bruno Mars' songs are over a billion streams. That's crazy. That's crazy. For comparison, Taylor Swift has 12 songs over a billion streams, which is very impressive. That's a huge number. It's more than Adele. That's such a large number. However, she has at least 236 songs on Spotify. 236. So about 5% of her songs get a billion, whereas Bruno Mars has 40% of his songs hit a billion. So my overall point is there are levels to superstardom. Obviously they're both the very top, but Bruno Mars, in I think everyone's opinion, has a much higher percentage of, hey, this song is going to be a hit when he releases it versus Taylor Swift. And that's just the numbers. It's just she's released 236 songs. She had 31 songs on her last album. Bruno Mars has released 29 total songs under his name. It's just when you release that much music, it's like a lot of these songs people will never hear. It's impressive when people know like every single Taylor Swift song, like the first beat. I've seen videos of that. That's really impressive. Um, if you were to do it with Bruno Mars, it would not be impressive because anyone listening probably knows all of them from the first beat. It's like it's they're that he's that much of a hit maker, a hit machine. That he blows someone like Taylor Swift out of the water when you look at the numbers. I didn't do Drake because it would be embarrassing, but he blows Drake out of the water, and it's not even close. Drake probably has, yeah, probably like 200 songs out there. I doubt he has more than five over a billion. Like it's he blows Bruno Mars blows any other artist out of the water. Even Adele, like Adele's percentage is much lower than Bruno Mars's. He blows any artist out of the water when it comes to the percentage of his songs that become mega hits. All of them do. All of them do. Let me give you a quick list. Just because it's nuts to me. It's nuts to me. On his first album, 2010, his debut album, the first song is Grenade, 1.4 billion streams. Second song is Just the Way You Are, 2.2 billion streams. The fourth song is Runaway Baby, 491 million streams. The fifth song is The Lazy Song, a billion streams. Sixth song is Marry You, a billion streams. Seventh song is Talking to the Moon, a billion streams. The ninth song is Count on Me, 700 million streams. That's crazy. This is a 10-song album, and five of the songs have over a billion streams. That's crazy. His next album was also 10. It was 9 songs. Sorry, and oh wait, no, sorry, no. His next album was 10 songs. A Lot That I Haven't has 2 billion streams. Treasure has a billion streams. When I Was Your Man has 2 billion streams. And his most recent album, 24 Karat Magic, 9 songs. He has 24 Karat Magic, the title track, 1.5 billion streams. That's what I like, 2.2 billion streams. And that's not even counting Uptown Funk. His new song "Die with a Smile" came out earlier this year, like a couple months ago. Already has 500 million streams. It's just he manufactures hits. There's no artist you'd rather have on your song than Bruno Mars if you want it to go number one. It's just how it is. It's how it's been since 2010, and for the past 15 years. He doesn't release often, but when he does, it's a hit. Um, he's that good, and I'm a huge Bruno Mars fan. So that's all I had there. I'm gonna go on a quick break, uh, and we'll be back with a rant, a debate, and then we'll wrap up. All right. This next topic is about um, a quick rant. So hopefully be brief. But recently I've gotten a lot of flack because once in a while I tend to sleep in my car, or not my car, but a car that I have either rented or my parents have lent me. Um, and I get a lot of flack for it, which, like universally, everyone's like, "Why are you sleeping in your car? It's awful." And I'm like, "Okay, I've seen who and what you put in your body, and you are in no place to judge." Um, but let me just run this quick. Like I don't sleep well in my bed. I sleep almost better in my car. It's comfortable. I can set the AC to like a nice temperature. I can lean back. It's a nice. A lot of times they're nice cars. It's comfortable seating. I have a toothbrush in the car. I have all like the toilet creams and stuff that keep my skin looking as radiant as it always does. And yeah, I can sleep in a parking lot near where I need to be the next morning, and I can get an extra half hour of sleep because I don't have to get up and transport myself. So it's just you know it really isn't that bad. I mean it's almost honorable, I would say, to be able to humble yourself, to be able to be like, hey, I don't need the frills of a house. All I need is all I need is a car. Like it's not that crazy. I mean, think about it. People who live in mobile homes, they live in big cars. Like and people don't hate on them. I think when people were like, "Oh, I used to live in my car," like when I was down bad, I was like, "No, no, 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 no. It's not how that works. You were at your best when you were living in your car. Um, you were so agile. You were so mobile. Everyone talks about how businesses should be more agile, be more adaptable. Um, how about your living space? That should be more adaptable. You know, look at the people in Florida. Look at the people in North Carolina. I'm sure if they were living out of their car, they would have all of their stuff still because they would be on the road to somewhere else. So, maybe it's not so bad to live in your car. Wow, that's quick. Yeah, that's kind of all I had. But like everyone acts like I am like on the street peddling for money. Like when I'm saying like, oh, I slept in my car last night. Like, no, I'm not. Like, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not even bad. It's good. I'm gonna change the narrative here. It's better to sleep in your car. Like if someone's like, "Oh, I slept in my bed last night," I'm like, "Ooh, man, are you okay? Like, well, why didn't you sleep in your car last night? Like, that's a much better option. It's smarter. It's more agile. Like, if you sleep in a bed on a day-to-day basis, you are down bad because you are not sleeping in your car. Um, if you sleep on an air mattress with no sheets and have to have to get a hotel when your girlfriend comes in town because she's so disgusted by the way you live, like Charlie Fish, you are down bad worse than me who is sleeping in my car to be able to wake up and be next to a golf course, wake up and be next to a gas station because you accidentally ran out of gas at 3 a.m. and all the gas stations are closed. Stuff like that. Um, so yeah, that was a quick rant, like I thought it would be. But sleeping in a car isn't that bad. Or sorry, it's good. I keep saying not that bad. It's great, actually. It's fantastic. It's the best. So moving on to a debate. Um, this one I actually just made up like 5 minutes ago, so I don't have many thoughts about it. But I was thinking, is it an overall plus or negative that if like because Florida will go under within the next couple of years, there'll be no more Florida. Uh, and I was gonna say unfortunately there, but that's what the debate is about. Is it a good or a bad thing when Florida goes under? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's tough because there are things I like about Florida. There's a lot of golf. Um, yeah, there's like a lot of golf. Uh, yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of golf. And but the pluses are also there. I mean, the Panthers are gonna hate the Panthers. The Rays are gonna hate the Rays. Osh's house. Oh, sorry, Disneyland. Sorry, Disney World. I don't like Disney World. Orlando's gone. I hate Orlando. Jacksonville's gone. I hate Jacksonville, and everyone from those areas. Uh, okay. If the Jaguars are gone, I'd be kind of sad. That'd be sad. Go Guars. But all right. So golf and the Jaguars are the negatives. If you lose Florida, positives are the people are gone. The Rays, Panthers, Dolphins. Who else? Marlins. Don't care for the Marlins. They're all gone. More space for alligators. That'd be kind of cool. And another plus is that hopefully we can extend this to. Hopefully you can like kind of keep the good vibes going, kind of like Sherman, and kind of like work up the East Coast and hit Atlanta next. And like everyone who was or is in Atlanta at any point in their life could like go next. That would be great. Um, and then maybe get like UGA like as it kind of curves, and then like I don't know, maybe hits like Richmond on the way up. Oh yeah, no, it'll end in Richmond, and then the South will surrender again. Um, so yeah, that was about it. I'm gonna pivot this into another debate about how it's so funny that like the North won the Civil War. I know I bring it up a lot, but like, oh my goodness, it's so funny because everyone from the South pretends to be more American than people from the North. You guys got cooked. You guys got cooked. Like absolutely smoked. Like literally smoked, like with fire by the North. And you act like you like why would you have Southern pride? It's as if like the Phillies right now were better at baseball than you, the Mets, because we just lost. But like because we lost and you guys smoked us, like we can. That's the lost cause of the Philadelphia Phillies is that they actually won that series. They had an honorable reason to win that series. Just so funny. And like I meet too many people from Richmond as it is, but whenever I hear Richmond, I'm just like, ha, that's the place where they lost the Civil War. That was the fraud capital that lasted 40 years because they just couldn't keep it together. Just hilarious to me that that you know, quote unquote un-American places like Vermont, uh, like absolutely cooked quote unquote American places like Georgia. Like it's just so funny. Yeah. Um, that's all I had. Trying to think of anything. I posted on my story on my Instagram story. Send me slow stroke songs. I'm compiling a list that'll be next podcast. I'm gonna boot up the Try Things account probably soon. I have some ideas for that as well. So you'll see some more posts there. I'm playing golf soon in Florida. Um, so that'll be fun. It's like a little tournament, but we'll see how I do. That'll be next podcast as well. Besides that, um, yeah, it's about it. Shout out Obama. Shout out Sabrina Carpenter. Shout out Francisco Lindor. Shout out who else? Who else? Who else? Shout out our IHOP waiter. He was a cool guy. Oh, negative shout out for Capital One. I tipped like the IHOP waiter because he's a nice guy. Like it was like I gave him like a 40% tip. Um, and Capital One is like calling me about fraud alerts, and I'm like, I can't tip someone 40% and not get a fraud alert. Like you really hate the working man that much that like you're gonna lose your shit when I tip a waiter 40%. So Maxi, I know you hate working class people in general, but that's rude. It's rude to do that. So please fix that. I know you mostly draw pictures and serve coffee for Capital One at the cafe, but try and work your way up to like an actual consultant or whatever, analyst or whatever, uh, and get them to change that because that'd be great. Yeah, I think. This has been an ad-free podcast because I can't figure out how to like splice clips on this app that I'm using. So I'll do so. Well, no, it's just a lie. I'm gonna do some ads at the end. But yeah, that's about it. Like, subscribe, Venmo me at jcarney13 if you'd like to donate, because you should. It's due, one might say. So yeah, um, take care. Stay safe. This podcast was brought to you ad-free by eBay. Do you want lefty golf clubs? Please go to eBay and buy my golf clubs. I need them out of my car soon. And they're reasonably priced. They're all pretty new. Please, please go and buy them because I can't. I have way too much of my money tied up in golf clubs right now. And please buy them. Bye bye.